Wow. Look at all these wheels. Wow. That one's white. Wow. 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 I feel bad for that wall carrying all that
baggage.
Like that team that I carried in Call of Duty. All right, just kidding. I'm kidding. I actually don't play that much anymore because everybody got really good and I didn't play that much and I got really bad. All right. When it comes down to wow moments in the car industry, there's been a few. When Pontiac made the Aztek, that was I would say that would be a wow moment. When Ryan T put a Ferrari engine in his drift machine, that was a wow moment. You thought to yourself, anything is possible. When Elon Musk broke his Cybertruck in front of like 1 million people with a rock or a shovel or a stick, I can't even remember what it was, that was a wow moment.
Oh my God! Wow!
But we don't often hear about those wow moments with some of the
bigger car companies, AKA
mistakes or beautiful little mishaps. Oh, or were they? Okay, whatever. I'm Alex, Alex.fi on Instagram, and today we're gonna be talking about a car that pretty much probably got nearly every single Porsche enthusiast into the 911 at some time without it actually being a 911. A car that had a rough start in terms of how people perceived it, cheap, but ultimately got in and worked very well for the brand. Probably one of the best ones that you can buy for $1 in this day and age, which is August 7th of 2020. A car that, although it doesn't have the round headlights of the 911, it does pretty well in terms of styling, and no, it's not the worst car to maintain in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna be talking about you wanting to own a Porsche Cayman S. And if you're just jumping into this Fitment Industries video,
hi.
We do things like wheels, tires, and suspension for your newly acquired Porsche Cayman or otherwise. In all honesty, the Cayman only has like 15 choices when it comes to wheels, and we have about 15 choices for the Cayman S. I shouldn't have said that because it makes it sound like we don't have a lot, but we really do have anything that could be on it, we do have it. So check it out over there.
Awesome.
The Porsche Cayman was birthed into this world in 1995 as the Boxster. Okay, which is a reference to its flat or boxer engine and the fact that it was a roadster. They just smushed the words together, okay? Kind of like a little PB&J. And they didn't really get very creative with that one. What should we name it? Just take the two words and put them together. I don't know. And they came up and they were like, Roadbox? Let's not do that. So that was funnier when I thought about it. It's not as funny at 6:30 in the morning. The nameplate would then change to Cayman, which is a member of the alligator family. So I'm not sure. The Porsche Boxster was the model for Porsche to help offer a new generation equivalent of the 912 series, or the 914 series, or pretty much any of those Porsche model lineup cars that didn't have the 911 badge, because the 911 was actually pretty darn expensive. Now, it had a 2.5 liter flat six and was pretty decent for what it was designed to do. It was an entry-level Boxster. It was an entry-level Porsche. The Boxster S, though, got a 3.2 liter engine, which did pretty dang good for the car at the time. And if you can get over the looks, it's actually a pretty good car to jump into if you don't mind the styling, and it will perform very well. And although Porsche is known for the 911 nameplate, the Boxster was Porsche's biggest volume seller from 1996 until the Cayenne came out in 2003, which ultimately saved the brand even further with its SUVs and CUVs blowing up, because America has refused to love wagons and hot hatches like they should. In 2005, Porsche would debut the 987 Boxster Cayman, okay, and wanted it to resemble the Carrera GT as much as possible. It did pretty well, actually. Like, it doesn't look bad. And when most people say it tries to resemble that, that's a rough thing to do. And it had the angry lines and it was all that, but it wasn't, you know, $500,000 car. But then the Cayman launched in 2006. It took the reins of the Boxster market, sort of, and redesigned it to hit the market again with a more budget-friendly Porsche model, but was still a little bit above the Boxster design. Designed by Pinky Lai, the same individual who is primarily responsible for the exterior design of the 996, was the same one who did it for the Cayman. Now, listen, okay, I know, everybody's just like, the 996 is the ugly one. Okay, stop trying to hurt my feelings. It's still a pretty car and a beautiful car, and it looks good. All in all, the Cayman did well until 2016, where Porsche would inevitably split the Boxster and Cayman models while planting either a naturally aspirated 6-cylinder or a flat 4 turbocharged engine, depending on which one you got. Now, the number one question in the world is why are SpaghettiOs not containing all letters of the alphabet? The second most important question is why is the Boxster / Cayman together? It's a great question. The Boxster is the wind in your hair model, and the Cayman is the fixed roof pretty much. Also, the Boxster is Porsche's entry model, and they wanted to be sure they could keep it without downplaying the Cayman's more track-oriented focus. So you have your Boxster, your Cayman, usually a couple things in the middle, and then your 911. And even before the Cayman was introduced in 2004, it became very clear to the world that there was a massive gap between the 911 and the Boxster where Porsche needed to meet in between. Hence the Cayman. The Cayman filled that void for those that still wanted a Porsche. And although extremely similar, the Caymans weighed less. They have more torsional rigidity, they have stiffer suspension, anti-roll bars, and a bigger, better engine. Just a more refined machine. Okay? The Cayman S slapped when it was introduced, even going toe-to-toe with the 997 911 at the same time and beating it in some challenges. It still had space to put your clothes for a weekend trip and smile all the way up and down the hill. And that was the coolest thing about the Cayman, is that it was a more budget-friendly version that could still get the job done, especially the Cayman S when you compare it to its track competitors. The most notable Cayman would come in 2012 as the 981. Remember, Porsche loves numbers for their cars. You got 911, 912, 964, 981, 917, 993, 992, 991, 991.1, 996.2, and 997. Anyway, the third generation Cayman is probably the best car you can buy if you want a decently priced Porsche. It was stiffer, stronger, faster, and way more badass. So you get the Cayman in a 2.7 liter or 3.4 liter, and you could get the legendary dual clutch PDK, all right? Most people talk smack about automatics, but if you've ever driven a Porsche with a PDK, you will see why everyone absolutely loves that transmission. Don't get me wrong, manual's still cool, it's still a very visceral experience, very raw, very connected to a stick by your knee. But PDK is very fast, makes you feel like you're a little bit of a 6th grader when you're behind the wheel. In the very last year of this generation, they finally unveiled the GT4. Now, a smaller equivalent to the GT3 that most people know. It was bad. It was a detuned 3.8 liter out of a Carrera S and only came in a manual transmission under 3,000 pounds from factory. It had brakes from the 991, LSD, torque vectoring, active suspension management, and dampers from a 991. This thing is insane. If you want one, go get one. Now I know that's not a Cayman S, but we're talking about the GT4 because it's important. Out of all the Porsches to buy, I'm telling you, this was the one and is slept on by most people like you and people like me. We always look at the 911s and those are the ones we want. GT4 is a banging car. It is like $80,000 though, so that can be a little bit of a hesitation. 4th generation Cayman from 16 to now has 2 less cylinders, a turbo, and now they call it a 718 versus enthusiasts calling it a 718 and Porsche calling it a Cayman, because 718s were pretty much a smaller motor, faster, quicker turn, and it was a nod back into the old days of Porsche racing because they went down to a turbocharged 4-cylinder. But we're not here to talk about the history of the cars. We're here to talk about you wanting to own one of these bad boys. So you want a Porsche Cayman S. Well, set down your Porsche t-shirt you found at a yard sale and grab your favorite, no, it's not a 911 comeback, and let's talk about it, because there could be some people that don't enjoy associating Porsche with Cayman or Porsche with Boxster, and they're not nice people. If you're gonna buy a Cayman S, there's 2 major things that you need to know, all right? Get a Cayman S. Don't get anything else. Don't get the base model, don't get that. Get a Cayman S. The jump up into that performance model is 100% worth it if you can find one. Now, if you have bigger pockets and you're not afraid of jumping in something different, you can probably just get a GT4, okay? It's like, you're gonna drive the living spaghetti out of it, and it's a fantastic car, and they're not depreciating that hard. But Cayman S's are in a little bit of a weird spot because they are fantastic cars for a very specific purpose. They look good, but they're historical generations, not so much, which can leave people feeling a little bit weary about buying one if you are trying to go get one. And I mean, I hate to say it, but they don't have they don't have the 911 headlights, which is pretty much the only reason 911 prices remain high. Now, I'm saying that tongue in cheek and it's very generic, please don't get mad at me, but that is one of the key design figures that keeps 911s expensive. However, the Cayman S, and more specifically the GT4, has gained an incredible place in the good old market for those that love the track without paying insane Porsche 911 prices. Not only that, but they are bang on car to just daily drive. Every single person that has owned one of these has absolutely loved them. They have pretty decent reliability, they last a long time, and because they have a racing background, there's just so much aftermarket potential out there. A few negatives though to owning a Cayman S or GT4 or pretty much any Porsche known to man is the fact that the prices on these parts they're a little steep. All right, that and they aren't loved by a lot of people. They're soft, they're curvy, and because they're soft and curvy, the designs usually date faster than those with angry lines. Take a look at an E30 and take a look at some of the Porsches that came out during that time. Not really the same thing. But if you want a car that's more performance oriented and okay with arguing with people as to why you got a Cayman S versus a 911 to people that don't even own a Porsche, then this is the car for you. Wheel options are pretty limited but available. Just throw on some Michelins on that bad boy. Maybe get yourself some rotiforms or 3-piece wheels, maybe BBSs, some lowering springs so you can keep your suspension settings that are in the center dash because they're super fun to play with, and you are set. But what do you think about the Porsche Cayman S? Let us know in the comment section below, and of course, let us know what you'd like us to talk about next. This one is a little bit more of a unique car. Not a lot of people actually talk about these anymore. And of course, if you're looking for aftermarket wheels, tires, or suspension, be sure to hit us up over at fitmentindustries.com, where we literally have everything your little heart could possibly imagine. And if you do have a Porsche Cayman S that's modified, be sure to add it to our gallery at fitmentindustries.com/add. It's a fun process. There's a lot of boxes, but it's super cool because then we get to see your cool car. I'm Alex from Fitment Industries. We will see you later. Stay safe. Peace.